Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reimer, one of the librarians at the Southeast Devon County Library. Welcome to Library Connections, our weekly readers, viewers, and listeners advisory video cast. Enjoy. Library Connections number 80. This is the Friday, December 10th, 2021 edition of Library Connections. And I can't believe we're at episode 80, but we certainly are. Kicking things off with our top 5 fiction bestsellers for this week, from the New York Times, at number 1, Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. Diana O'Toole reevaluates her seemingly perfect life when a pandemic disrupts her vacation in the Galapagos Islands. At number 2, Leviathan Falls by James S.A. Corey, the 9th and, by the way, final book in the Expanse series. A group of unlikely allies might find a way to bring peace to a vast galactic civilization. Let's hope that they do. We'll have to read the book to find out. But I'm digressing, of course. At number 3, Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone by Diana Gabaldon, the 9th book in the Outlander series. As the Revolutionary War moves closer to Fraser's Ridge, Claire and Jamie reunite with their daughter and her family. At number 4, Autopsy by Patricia Cornwell, the 25th book in the Kay Scarpetta series. Scarpetta investigates crime scenes in Virginia and outer space. And at number 5, The Judge's List by John Grisham, the 2nd book in the Whistler series. Investigator Lacey Stoltz goes after a serial killer and closes in on a sitting judge. Moving on to our top 5 nonfiction bestsellers of the week, at number 1, The 1619 Project, edited by Nicole Hannah-Jones, Caitlin Roper, Elena Silverman, and Jake Silverstein. Viewing America's entanglement with slavery and its legacy in essays adapted and expanded from the New York Times Magazine. And I'm going to pause here briefly to note something I think I've mentioned before. The New York Times bestseller lists, the new ones, come out on Thursday. So this is actually, although it's at the beginning, the New York Times list is the last thing I do for each video cast. So I selected the 1619 Project as my first recommended read for this week before I knew it was going to be the number 1 nonfiction bestseller of the week. Just FYI. And I'm digressing. Let me dig back into the nonfiction bestsellers with number 2, The Storyteller by David Grohl, a memoir by the musician known for his work with Foo Fighters and Nirvana. At number 3, All American Christmas by Rachel Campos Duffy and Sean Duffy, a collection of holiday memories from members of the staff of Fox News. At number 4, Will by Will Smith with Mark Manson. The actor, producer, and musician tells his life story and lessons he learned along the way. And at number 5, The Lyrics, 1956 to the Present by Paul McCartney, a 2-volume celebration of 154 songs with handwritten texts, paintings, and photographs from the songwriter's archives. Our first recommended read for this week is nonfiction. It's The 1619 Project, created by Nicole Hannah-Jones in the New York Times Magazine. Hannah-Jones won a Pulitzer Prize for her work on this project. And let me tell you a little about it. In this substantial expansion of the New York Times Magazine's 2019 special issue commemorating the 400th anniversary of the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in America, Pulitzer winner Hannah Jones and an impressive cast of historians, journalists, poets, novelists, and cultural critics deliver a sweeping study of the unparalleled impact of African slavery on American society. In an enlightening preface, Hannah Jones pinpoints the origins of the project. In her reading of Lerone Bennett Jr.'s book, Before the Mayflower, as a high school student. And she goes on to discuss the political and scholarly backlash the book has received. Updated versions of the original 10 essays examine the struggle for African American voting rights and the centrality of Black music to American culture, among other topics. While new essays by Carol Anderson and Leslie and Michelle Alexander spotlight double standards in the application of self-defense laws and the police response to the Black Lives Matter protests and the January 6th Capitol riot. Stories and poems by Claudia Rankin, Terry McMillan, Darrell Pinckney, and others bring to life vivid historical moments, such as the reading of the Emancipation Proclamation to one of the first Black military brigades. The result is a bracing and vital reconsideration of American history, and that is the Starred Publishers Weekly Review. Our second recommended read of the week, unlike the first, which obviously covers a very serious subject, but our second recommended read is just the opposite. This one is very funny. It's the new Mel Brooks memoir, All About Me, My Remarkable Life in Show Business. Let me tell you a little about the memoir. The subtitle for Brooks's rose-colored autobiography could have been, It's a Wonderful Life. Even events that might have distressed others get a positive spin. Left fatherless at an early age, Brooks received more attention from his mother and doting older brothers. A stint in the Army in his late teens, during the closing days of World War II, Brooks found an opportunity to hone his comedic chops. Every movie Brooks ever made was a hit, or at least broke even, and every cast and crew he worked with was the best. And maybe it's all true, because the ebullient Brooks's default position seems to be happy. It helps that he focuses on his career, so although his wonderfully talented wife Anne Bancroft is certainly mentioned, her death gets just a few sentences. He goes into depth about his own films and shows, but it would have been nice to hear more about the excellent movies his production company made, including The Elephant Man and My Favorite Year. Brooks is a national treasure who's not shy to admit it, and his laugh-filled memories mixed with an optimism that fans will find almost contagious. High-demand backstory. Brooks is legendary in comedy, TV, and film, and his upbeat memoir is just the sort of fun book many readers are seeking. And that is the book list review, and I agree it's a very optimistic book. I do have one little quibble with the reviewer, though. Seeing as how Mel Brooks did not himself direct The Elephant Man with John Hurt and My Favorite Year with Peter O'Toole, I'm not sure why he would include more information on those films and the movies his production company made that he didn't direct. But I digress. If you haven't seen The Elephant Man and My Favorite Year, I agree, they're excellent films, and you should check them out. Our first audiobook recommendation for this week is the Jennifer Werner novel, Fly Away Home. Fly Away Home is narrated by Judith Light. Sometimes all you can do is fly away home. When Sylvie Surfer met Richard Woodruff in law school, she had wild curls, wide hips, and lots of opinions. Decades later, Sylvie has remade herself as the ideal politician's wife. Her hair dyed and straightened, her hippie chic wardrobe replaced by tailored knit suits. At 57, she ruefully acknowledges that her job is staying 20 pounds thinner than she was in her 20s and tending to her husband, the senator. Lizzie, the Woodruff's younger daughter, is, at 24, a recovering addict whose mantra HALT, which stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired, helps her keep her life under control. Still, trouble always seems to find her. Her older sister Diana, an emergency room physician, has everything Lizzie failed to achieve: a husband, a young son, the perfect home, and yet she's trapped in a loveless marriage. With temptation waiting in one of the ER's exam rooms, she finds herself craving more. And then the news of Richard's extramarital affair makes headlines, and the three women are drawn into the painful glare of the national spotlight. Once the press conference is over, each is forced to reconsider her life, who she is, and who she is meant to be. Written with an irresistible blend of heartbreak and hilarity, Fly Away Home is an unforgettable story of a mother and two daughters who, after a lifetime of distance, finally learned to find refuge in one another. Moving on to our second audiobook recommendation for this week, and this one obviously is a mystery. It's called Murder on a Mystery Tour by Marian Babson. The audio is narrated by Stephen Crossley. With their fortunes dwindling, Reggie and his wife Midge have turned the family mansion into an English country inn. When Midge gets a call from an old classmate who arranges mystery tours for visiting Americans, she happily agrees to host one of these staged murder events. But the tour seems to be a disaster from the get-go, with lots of arguing and complaining among those involved. Then, after a massive snowstorm, a real murder takes place, and it's up to the amateur sleuths to solve the case before the killer checks them out permanently. The consistently witty Agatha Award-winning author presents a tale of murder in a country mansion. So if you like cozies with a little bit of cleverness mixed in, check out Murder on a Mystery Tour. Our first streaming recommendation for this week is a brand new movie. It's called Encounter. It's available exclusively through Amazon Prime, and it has just come out today, Friday, December 10th. The film is directed by Michael Pierce and stars Riz Ahmed, Yanine Gavankar, and Rory Cochrane. As this film is just coming out today, I haven't seen any full reviews of it, but it does sound like a supernatural film. So if you like supernatural movies, this is a new one to check out. So having said that, let me tell you a little about the plot. The film tells the story of a Marine who goes on a treacherous journey with his two young sons in order to protect them from an unknown force. In the jarring teaser, the film's lead character, played by Hamed, is seen holding what appears to be a sniper rifle, as he tells his son to stay put and count to a very high number. The rest of the teaser consists of an array of images from the movie flashing on screen, as a voiceover of the young boy counting can be heard. It appears as though Ahmed's character and his sons are on the run because of something otherworldly. And that's all I know about the film, but if you like supernatural-based films, here's a new one that's out today. Our second streaming recommendation for this week is a modern classic. It's the 1988 film Mystic Pizza, directed by Donald Petrie and starring Annabeth Gish, Julia Roberts, and Lily Taylor. And if you're not familiar with the film, let me tell you a little about the plot. 3 young working-class women contemplate the lives ahead of them and away from the pizzeria where they work and hang out in this charming romantic comedy drama. The wise and witty script is a gem, but the key to the film's success may well have been the director Donald Petrie's keen eye for young talent. The film features in early and important roles Julia Roberts, Lily Taylor, Annabeth Gish, Vincent D'Onofrio, and a blink and you'll miss it debut appearance by Matt Damon. So if you like feel-good comedy dramas, check out Mystic Pizza. And our final streaming recommendation for this week is the new TV series Wheel of Time, which is directed by Rafe Judkins and stars Rosamund Pike, Daniel Henney, Madeline Madden, and an ensemble cast. The TV series is based on the books by the fantasy writer Robert Jordan. Wheel of Time begins simply and approachably in what you could call modified Frodo's quest mode. There's a prophecy, a wizard, a band of ordinary folk swept up in history, a perilous journey, a shadowy foe, and talk of a decisive final battle. The Gandalfian figure here is Moraine of the Aes Sedai, an all-female order of enchanters who weave smoky strands of magic. She turns up in Two Rivers, a region nestled amidst the Sound of Music mountains, because the auguries say that one of the local young people is the incarnation of the dragon, an epical figure who appears at the end of each age. The twist, she doesn't know which one of the young people it is. When an army of Trollocs, beast-faced minions of the unseen Dark One, show up to unleash Dungeons and Dragons havoc, she flees to Rivers with her swordman sidekick Lan and a gaggle of potential reluctant saviors. So it's Lord of the Rings-esque. If you like that kind of fantasy film or TV series, check this one out. And finally, our Hoopla recommendation for this week. This week I'm going to recommend the Hoopla Holiday Romance Collection of movies. They have 142 titles in their Holiday Romance Collection, and you can access them on your mobile device through the Hoopla app or through your computer at hoopladigital.com. And of course, you can also access Hoopla content through your smart TV. So if you're in the mood to binge watch some holiday romances, check out the Holiday Romance Movie Collection on Hoopla. Library Connections videos premiere on Facebook Fridays at 1 p.m. and may also be found on the Southeast Steuben County Library's YouTube channel. Have questions about this weekly videocast? Let me know. Send an email to me at reimerl@stls.org and I'll get back to you. And a note on library hours. The library is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're open on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we're closed on Sundays. The library's website is found at ssclibrary.org, and you can find a whole host of information on our website about upcoming events. You can access our catalogs, schedule a curbside appointment, and much more. Again, that's ssclibrary.org. StarCat and its companion app BookMine. StarCat is the catalog of physical library materials available to all cardholders of the public libraries in the Southern Tier Library System. STLS encompasses the public libraries in Steuben, Chemung, Yates, Schuyler, and Allegheny counties. StarCat is found online at starcat.stls.org. And the companion app BookMine, which is BookMyne, is available in your App Store. If you'd rather access the catalog through the app, download it from your App Store. The digital catalog and its companion app Libby. The digital catalog is available online at stls.overdrive.com. The digital catalog features eBooks, downloadable audiobooks, and a handful of streaming videos. And if you would rather access the digital catalog and its content through an app, the app is called Libby, Libby. You can download it from your App Store and access the same catalog of items through the app. Hoopla, and of course its companion app, also called Hoopla. The Hoopla catalog features ebooks, comic books, full-length albums, downloadable audiobooks, and streaming videos, including both TV shows and movies. All Hoopla items are available for instant checkout for Southeast Steuben County Library cardholders, with a maximum of 6 checkouts per month. The Hoopla catalog is available online at hoopladigital.com, or you can download the app to your mobile device or smart TV. Communicating with the library. An important thing. If you have questions about library materials or services, you are welcome to go the traditional route and simply give us a call. The library's telephone number is area code 607-936-3713. We have the same phone number we've had for decades, so if you have an old phone book floating around the house, you'll find our number in your phone book too. And you can also connect with the library via social media. The library has pages on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Library blogs. We have 5 of them. We have the Book Club for Adults blog, which is found at ssclbook.club. And you guessed it, that one focuses on the monthly adult book club. We have the Corning NY History blog, which is our local history blog, which is found at corningnyhistory.com. Creation Stationery, our Makerspace blog, found at creationstationery.com. Story Musings, a blog hosted by the library's resident author and head of adult services Michelle Wells, found at storymusing.blogspot.com. And Tech and Book Talk, a readers, viewers, and listeners advisory, which is found at sscltech.com. And here briefly are our references for this week. And that's the program for this week. I'll be back next week with a new edition of Library Connections. Have a great week.